So I'm trying new things in my life. I spend a lot of time in solitude, and it's been a journey. It's been such a journey, but it's a journey that I want to bring you guys on. And I'm such a homebody. I get teased on how much I don't leave my house, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to change. We could do with getting out more, getting out of the house, trying new things, living life, and switching it up, changing the pattern. And that's really where I'm at right now in my life, where I'm trying to switch it up and create new paths for myself. I literally used AI and asked it if it could give me 100 ideas for activities to do solo. And one of the first things it suggested is you should go cinema by yourself. You should go to the movies by yourself. I've never done that. I've never done that in my life. And I never really thought about it, but this is what this whole thing's about. It was such a weird morning in the lead up to today. I don't know how else to explain it other than the fact that it felt like I was going on a date, but with myself and you, of course. I was getting ready and I legit felt jittery. And I was like, why the hell am I nervous to go by myself to the cinema? Like, it's not that deep. I've heard stories about how this is actually quite an empowering thing to do. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, like so many of us. This man means so much to so many people, and me myself, like, he's the reason I got into dance. I remember seeing him do Dangerous live for the first time. I've never seen someone move like him. I don't know how else to explain it other than the fact that it was so inspiring. It was the first time I think I saw a performer live which was entrancing and exciting, and you just couldn't take your eyes off this dude. Like, everything he did was gold. When I was booking the tickets for this thing, I know a lot of people like sitting right at the back, but I'm not one of those people. So I am sat in C9, which is, it's like 3 rows from the front. And as you can see, there's no one else in this row. So, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a bit of a VIP experience. I get the vibe that the energy of this movie, like the way that they've sort of approached it, is almost like a celebration. It's like we're all here for the love of Michael. Let's hype ourselves up. I think we need to hype ourselves up. There's people looking at me, but I don't care. Ooh. Beat it. Just beat it, beat it. This? No words. Never knew I was walking the line. They say why? That's too many! Oh! It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. I can't do it in here, but I want to do it. I feel the power, Mike! I feel the power! The day is gone. I'm still on. Oh! Alright, it cut. Oh shit. Alright, I'm late. We're late. Let's go. Come on, why are you taking so... Man, we gotta go! Okay, I was going to do a review as soon as I came out of the screening, but to be honest with you, I was feeling slightly overwhelmed, but in the best of ways. I felt touched. But the film, Joe Jackson, his presence, like whoever, I don't know the actor's name, so forgive me. He did such an amazing job. You could feel this really strong, dark energy, and it was very heavy. You could feel he was living his dream through his children, and that he was a perfectionist. His mom, Michael's mom, Nia Long, killed it. The feeling of his mother's love was so strong throughout the whole film. To the point, it actually reminded me of my own mother. The way that she looked at her son with eyes that just say, you can do anything. Jafar Jackson, as soon as Jafar Jackson appeared on screen, I didn't see Jafar. It was an immediate suspend of disbelief because I didn't see Jafar Jackson, I saw Michael. Not just physically in terms of the body, but his eyes. You really felt like you were a fly on the wall in so many scenes because you get to see the building, that you get to see the slow progression of what Michael came to be. Even little things like some, you know, when he was doing affirmations in the studio, and you could see the way he used to make notes, and he would put those affirmations up on the mirror, and there were just so many things. But he was very much at the forefront of creating a version of himself that only he could feel in his heart and only he could see. And how he got there. Bubbles, the way they introduced Bubbles, it was so funny. It was quite lovely the way they did the introduction of Bubbles, because you could see that to Michael, it was a friend. I think Michael even mentioned at one point that he saved Bubbles. I think he got him from a shelter or something. I might be paraphrasing, but how he came from abuse, and then they were kind of mirroring Michael's childhood, and where Michael was so alone for so much of his life, and it was quite sheltered, even though he had all this popularity, like being part of the Jackson 5 and growing up in the spotlight. Bubbles was so pure, and that was kind of like a reflection of Michael's own heart. You felt really happy for him because he couldn't relate to other children his age, because even when he tried to hang with other kids his age, like, they wouldn't just chill with him, they wanted a photograph, or they wanted an autograph, or, you know, he was kind of like a victim of his own fame. There was no version of his life where he was going to have a normal childhood, and that was so heartbreaking. And, you know, speaking of the childhood, like the way his father used to make comments, you know, like I think he called him Big Nose, and you know what, that was probably one of the few parts in the film I genuinely, like, I started tearing up, because he made his son feel as if he needed to be perfect, but the truth is that he already was, he was already more than enough. It just kept making me feel, man, like words are so powerful. Just be careful with your words. Just be careful with your words. And be careful with how you make others feel, because you never know how positive or how negative you may have affected someone. But it was so cool to see Michael break away from the programming of his childhood traumas. Like I said, you get to see him build himself, right? So you get to see him chip away at the limitations of his mind, and that limitation being Joe, and how that limitation was forced on Michael as a kid. My God, I hated every time Joe Jackson was on screen. The actor did an amazing job because every time Joe Jackson was on screen, I'm not joking, I couldn't wait for him to get off the screen. They really did an amazing job of making you feel how Michael felt. The music, Thriller, the way they brought Thriller in, I can't do any justice. Billie Jean, that Motown moonwalk, everything from the way Jafar was bopping his head as he was like moving backwards and everything. I've seen that performance so many times of Billie Jean, and it was mirroring. It's like you were there. Human Nature, the way, oh man, Human Nature. He was performing Human Nature to this big crowd, and the way they shot the reactions of the crowd, you felt how the fans feel. And more than that, it was Michael's impact on the fans. Like, it was so strong. His aura was just when he announced his departure from the Jackson 5, he was claiming his power back and going solo. The way that his mother was looking at him as he did that, it was so powerful. Even I felt like a proud parent. Like, when he was taking his power back and he was announcing that shit, even I was like, oh, Michael. And then, you know, like the way they ended the film with his entrance. They played Bad in the background, and his entrance in London, when you see him with the long hair and just the clothes and just everything, like, I'm not joking, man. That shot, it's a moment right before he goes on stage. Anybody that's seen the film knows what I'm talking about. But the way they did that moment, it was Michael, man. There was some shots in there where, I'm not gonna lie, it was actually kind of scary, because they even had these like strobe lights and Jafar is gone. Like that, I saw Michael's face and I just had goosebumps. It was a moment. It was a moment, man. The film ends just as he begins to fully come into his own. I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I'm so glad I booked this. It was worth every penny. I would buy it and I would go watch it again in the cinema. I've seen biopics in the cinema, but I gotta tell you, that was probably the first biopic that when I was sitting there with that crowd, I could feel Michael's energy in the room. Now, I don't know if that was just me, but it's credit to the filmmakers, because the way that you feel as a Michael Jackson fan when you watch his actual performances or you listen to his music or, you know, you see interviews of him, it's that same energy, and somehow they managed to bring that magic to the big screen. I could see people bopping their heads. I mean, I was one of them. But there were people waving their arms and everything, but like, it was so cool, man. It's so cool to be an MJ fan, you know? And the director, Antoine Fuqua, it was a film, man. It wasn't a movie, it was a film. And just to comment a little bit on like the idea of going to the cinema by myself, it was weirdly empowering, but there was something about the act of me leaving my home, even just driving there and sitting there by myself. There was just something about that experience was just so different to going with a group or a date or a friend. It was completely different. Watching this story unfold in front of my eyes by myself, I was so strangely proud of myself for just going there and doing that. And it's weird, and you know, like, this is the first of many, right? Like, this is the first of many activities that I'm looking to do by myself, and you guys are coming with me. Today was such a good day. Today's such a good day, and just feel blessed to be alive. I just feel so blessed to be alive. And the word of the day I would say is I feel very moved by both the experience of going by myself and the movie. Go see Michael. It was masterfully done. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and thank you for spending time with me. I really appreciate you, and love you.